Okay, so the building on the right here is just taken straight out of the model that they provided for us, scaled down, and then put onto my 3D printing software. And you can see that there's these huge striations that make the building unprintable. This orientation of the building where it's angled, you don't really want that for 3D printing because then everything on the sides will be angled. Um, and also it's solid, which makes it take 4 times as long to print. So what we're trying to do is make the detail a lot more noticeable, make it hollow, and also orient it in the right direction. That way we save time, we get a lot of detail, and the printer likes to print it. And this building, I think, the model that I sent probably took 8 hours to print, and then I print the roof separately, and I actually printed that and it looks pretty good. I think it looks pretty good. So I'll show you how to get your building out. Mine's pretty easy to get out because it's out in the open. These ones might be a little bit tougher, but I'm sure you'll be able to do it. If you don't know how Rhino works at all, I'm just going to go through a few commands that I think are helpful and just show you like basic navigation before anything else. And if you have any trouble with it, just message me. Another note is mine's very dark. That's definitely not default, but it is Rhino, and also I'm using Windows, not Mac, so I don't really know which commands will work and which ones don't work based off of the different softwares. I feel like they're equal now, but in the past there was one command called selection filter. I don't I don't know if that is working yet, but that's a pretty important one for later. If that's not working, then there's workarounds. You can just message me. All right, this model is um, in Teams, I think. Did I say that yet? No. Yeah, so it's in Teams. This is the path to get there, and it's already scaled for you. And that way, all you have to do is rip the building out. You don't have to do any scaling or anything. I also added Trevor's massing that he did for the presentation in the group that I'm in for that. So I just put that into here. If we wanted to expand later in the semester, then we can. And these red buildings are the excluded buildings, the ones that weren't included from their provided site model. So we'll figure that out. But yeah, all right, let's get this building out. So right click is how you move your camera around. Your mouse wheel will zoom in and out. And then two helpful navigation commands that I know is if you hold control and right click, you can have a more controlled zoom to a specific area, which I think is very helpful. And then if you hold shift and right click, then it'll pan across the model. Panning is default in top view. Like you can't hold shift and then rotate or something. It's always just going to pan because you're locked in two dimensions. So and then also if you if you choose your model and press ZS and enter and space do the same thing, it'll reorient your viewport around that object. So if I'm working over here and I'm trying to like model over here at the same time, or over here, what I would want to do is click that object, type in ZS, enter, or space, and then that'll be the new focus. So that's moving around, and so I'm going to go to the top view. This is wireframe mode. If you don't want wireframe mode, all of these different modes are up here. The ones on the bottom are pretty intensive, so I would avoid those if you don't have a strong computer. But shaded is how you get, shaded objects versus wireframe. Wireframe will be the fastest for you. So if you're getting real bad lag or it's slowing down a lot, just switch to wireframe and it'll probably speed back up. Okay, so for selecting, you can click things, of course, to select things. If you hold Shift while clicking, you'll add to your selection, and if you hold Control while clicking, it'll subtract from your selection. And also, if you drag from left to right, it'll choose anything inside of the selection box. But if you choose right, or if you drag right to left, it will choose anything touching that box. So in order to get your building out, you probably want to choose from left to right, and that's it. Also, you can go into this properties tab, and if you don't see it, you can click this settings cog over here in the right and choose properties right here, and then rotate your entire display. So I think 16 is about orthogonal. That'll make choosing your more difficult buildings a little bit easier. Those are grouped for some reason. Yeah. If it says over here that you have a blocked building or a block instance, you can type in explode block like this and then choose your building. Alright, so this is mine. I'm going to take this and then I'm going to do export selected and then export it with my name and then what building number it is. So I know if this is your first building, your second building, your third building. If we have to go into threes, we probably will. But I'll do as many buildings as I can so that we're not stuck in this fixing buildings state. I'm using Rhino 7, but I can save down to Rhino 5, 6 if you need. And yeah, you're just going to save it as a separate file so that we're not working this giant file and having it slow you down the whole time. And then we can just close out of that. I don't need to save. You don't need to save probably unless you edited something for some reason. And then make sure you go back to your file location, open it back up. And then you'll see that it's all alone, and this is the origin over here. So we're just gonna move the building. You can type in M to move and then choose a point. I'm gonna choose this point for the front and then type in 0.0 without clicking anything else and enter. And then that command that I showed you earlier, ZS enter. So we just moved the building to the origin point, and then oriented the camera back to the object. And then we're going to rotate the building by typing in rotate into the command prompt, choosing the origin point, and then choosing, the back of the wall maybe, so that we can orient in the right direction. Now I have all these different lines. It's just for me to line stuff up. If you want those, I can show you how to do that, but if not, you don't really need to worry about that. Down here I have ortho on, which is how it was snapping to the 90 degrees. And now it's in the proper orientation. So I'm going to take a break and posted a separate video for getting layers set up and then starting to fix the model up.